Spring began on March 20th, and guess what? Only 9 Mondays left this school year.
Be strong.
Good morning, Booth Warriors. This is Ruby, and today is Monday, March 22nd, 2021. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please remain standing for a moment of silence while we reflect on today's activities and focus on demonstrating our best behavior. Please be seated. Remember, warriors, to follow the 3 W's. Wear your mask, wash your hands with soap, and watch your physical distance. Tryouts for the Chiefettes dance team begin today, Monday, March 22nd. If you are interested in trying out for the Chiefettes and did not attend their informational meeting, please email Ms. Yarbrough, yarbrough.carmen@mail.fcboe.org for an informational packet. Are you current 7th or 8th grader that is interested in being a competition cheerleader at McIntosh High School? Please come see Ms. Wolf in room 726 if you were unable to attend an informational meeting last week. And remember, a warrior is always responsible, respectful, and ready to learn. And now for the character lesson.
My name is Sophie, and I had the distinct pleasure of interviewing this American hero.
I wanted to become a fighter pilot when I was a little girl. My dad was a fighter pilot.
Heather Penny was a fighter pilot in the United States Air Force for 18 years. Her military rank was lieutenant. She was one of the fighter pilots deployed on September 11th, 2001.
And what I loved about it was when he would get together with his squadron mates, they would tell these incredible stories of what they were doing there. They were almost like adventure stories, but they were always about service. It was always about serving our nation, but they got to do so in such an amazing way. And I also just loved the jets. I loved the flying. I loved the people that he was serving with. There was just something about it that really appealed to me. And so that's really why I want to become a fighter pilot. But interestingly, girls couldn't be fighter pilots. For a long time, our nation said that girls could not serve in combat because we were women. And so we were denied not only that privilege, but that duty. And it wasn't until I was in college, actually, that Congress changed the law and allowed women to become combat fighter pilots. That exclusion is called the combat exclusion. The combat exclusion actually remained in place for a number of other military specialties like infantry and rangers and special operations and so forth. And so it's only been in the last several years that the entire combat exclusions have been lifted from women, allowing us to actually serve alongside our brothers and sisters in defense of our nation. I was the first and I was the only female fighter pilot in my squadron. And because I was the first, it was kind of tough because it was a really macho kind of culture in the fighter squadron. But, I really tried to focus on my craft, on being really good at my skills and what was expected of me and fulfilling my responsibilities and raising my hand at every opportunity to do any kind of work that needed to be done. That willingness to just focus on the job and not on the differences is what earned me credibility and respect among the guys, because any group has a set of shared values and a set of shared norms. Those things are all purposeful and they should serve the purpose of that group. And as fighter pilots, our job was to go put bombs on target on time, or to defend, in an air-to-air scenario, or go offensive in an air-to-air scenario, ensure air superiority in a region. So by focusing on those elements of our culture, that's really what gained me acceptance into the squadron. The jet didn't care if I was a boy or a girl, just cared whether or not I flew it well. And over time, the same thing happened in the fighter squadron as well.
How did you get your nickname Lucky?
Well, let me tell you this. No one gets to choose their nickname. No one gets to choose their call sign. It's given to you after you earn your combat mission ready status. So even after you go through fighter pilot school and you learn your jet, your weapon system, you go to your operational unit, those are the squadrons that would actually go to combat. But you're still not qualified to go to combat. You still have some top-off training, specialties, additional, skill sets, maybe new weapons, things that you need to continue to learn before you're certified to be combat mission ready with that unit. And so it's a really big test. So when you pass it, afterwards is when you earn a nickname. And usually that nickname is either a play on your last name, in my case, like Lucky Penny. So it was just a play on my last name. Or it can be a funny way to remind you of something that you did to be goofy, or a mistake that you made. But ultimately, the thing is, no one gets to pick their call sign. So no one gets to show up to the fighter and say, "I want to be called Maverick." Doesn't happen. But everyone values their call sign because it was chosen for you by your squadron mates. It's specific to you. There's a story behind it, and it's kind of a coming of age almost. You earned your way into the squadron and you earned your call sign.
Heather Lucky Penny was a new first lieutenant serving as a training officer in the 121st Fighter Squadron of the District of Columbia Air National Guard, based at Andrews Air Force Base outside of Washington. The first woman to serve in her ANG unit, she flew F-16Cs on training missions in preparation for combat. Carl von Wadke, Aviation History, a Military Times sister production.